Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. This is currently my last video today. I will be doing. I'm not too sure if we'll be going to college tomorrow, but if I am going tomorrow, there will be a couple of videos coming up to tomorrow evening as well, depending if I'm going tomorrow. As I said, so I have done 2 live streams today earlier on, as you all saw. Potentially there's a bit more news that's currently updated in the press now, as I'm going to potentially update you on. This is regarding Jorge Mendes now, currently Jose Mourinho's current representative. He came out with a statement, quite a few, he came out with a statement, and it was a surprising statement. It was a statement. It was a surprising statement that Jorge Mendes has came out with. He came out saying that Mourinho's happy at the club. He's fully committed to the club. The club are happy with him, and he said he's built. This was according to Jorge Mendes, and he said it's untrue with the rumours of Jose Mourinho potentially leaving Manchester United, because there has been potentially rumours of Jose Mourinho leaving the club, and potentially there has been talks of Pochettino coming in at the end of the season. The board and the owners thinking about recommending, Pochettino to come in at the end of the season. We know he has a 5-year deal with Tottenham. He basically said he's happy with top four with Tottenham. He's been at Tottenham since 2014. Only spent £50 million at Tottenham since 2014 as Pochettino. He's been in the Premier League 7 years, and played 18 years in his playing career as well. Did Pochettino? Reportedly, he said it could cost Man United 40 million. Potentially, he said it could cost Man United less to sack Mourinho at the end of the season if we do fail to get top four. But Pochettino has proven in the Premier League. I think he'd have that win mentality and that stature to command us in that position if he was to come in at the end of the season. Manchester United were to sack Jose Mourinho at the end of the season, because we know he's under so much pressure. But as I said, it depends how we play now. If we do have a good second half of the season, because we've had a bad first half of this season especially, then the pressure will ease off Jose Mourinho. But yeah, reportedly, as I updated you about the statement the other day, reportedly Jose Mourinho's come out in the media, and he's actually reacted to the Jorge Mendes statement, because Jorge Mendes never really publicly speaks about Jose Mourinho, and he doesn't really have a good relationship with Manchester United. But Mourinho's come out and he says he doesn't potentially care about Jorge Mendes' statement, so he's potentially not too focused on it. And Mourinho also said he's adamant that he had nothing to do with the Jorge Mendes statement. And Mourinho said he doesn't care about the statement. He said it's his statement, not my statement. So potentially he said it's nothing to do with him. The current statement that Jorge Mendes put out quite a few days ago. So, according to Mourinho, this is nothing to do with Jose Mourinho. We also potentially know that Jose Mourinho has been potentially having discussions also with Romelu Lukaku lately, potentially. Obviously, Lukaku's owned up, and he says he admitted he has to get better. He has to be in better form, does Romelu Lukaku, and he's owned up to this. And Mourinho's had talks with Romelu Lukaku. He's a big game battler. His first touch does concern me. I know he scored at the weekend against Fulham, his first goal since March at Old Trafford, and he potentially hasn't been his best this season. He scored 27 goals in his first season, but potentially we know he's Premier League proven. He's proven in the Premier League, as I currently said, Romelu Lukaku, but he has to somehow, try and get in a better form, as I said. Also, to confirm for the game tomorrow night, Mourinho has mentioned Paul Pogba. So Mourinho has given us 2 key promises for tomorrow night. Paul Pogba is going to be starting. Mourinho says he wants the best out of Paul Pogba tomorrow evening. So Pogba has to meet the expectations of what Jose Mourinho is demanding for him to do in the game. He said he wants Pogba to match the mentality of his teammates, and he wants him to lead the way against Valencia. There's Jose Mourinho, because Jose Mourinho and Pogba have had they've had a bad relationship. They've had a lot of disputes. As we all know, Mourinho, slating him down, Pogba, criticising his team selection and his current tactics. But reportedly, Mourinho's going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and he's going to start Paul Pogba on Wednesday, because Pogba didn't play against Fulham. He didn't even come on as a substitute against Fulham, as I said. So potentially he's highly experienced. He hasn't really proven himself in English football. We know there has been rumours of him potentially leaving and making a return back to Juventus. He said Juventus could actually go back in for him in the January transfer window as well, because he had 4 or 5 good years with Juventus. Fergie got rid of him in 2012 because obviously he wasn't getting enough game time, but we paid £89 million for him, and he hasn't really proven himself, Paul Pogba. Since he's come to English football, he does potentially tell our midfield is totally different. the balance of playing in the midfield is totally different, when Paul Pogba's obviously not operating it. Mourinho's obviously confirmed as well. Another key promise that Andres Pereira, he's praised Andres Pereira, and he has confirmed that Andres Pereira will be starting tomorrow night as well, which is a good thing because he's hardly played this season. Also, too, that's travelled with the rest of the squad. It's just confirmed in the media. Oh, this is freezing all the time. It's getting on my nerves. Let me just. Mourinho's also confirmed that Mason Greenwood, he's currently 17. There's two 17-year-olds that have gone to the trip to Valencia. Mason Greenwood and I think he's called James Garner, or something like that. So them two youngsters have travelled with the rest of the Manchester United squad as well. I don't know if Mourinho's done his press conference yet, building up to the game, or he's going to be doing it. I'm not too sure. He's going to be doing it. I'm not too sure. I'll have to look it up a bit later on. As I said, but tomorrow, as I said, potentially Valencia not doing well in La Liga. They're sitting 15th. They did give us a good game at Old Trafford, Valencia, to be quite fair. In the Champions League, we've already got Champions League within the knockouts February. We've already got that secured now. But potentially we could top the group if we beat Valencia. And, young boys get a result out of Juventus, which I doubt is going to happen. So I think we're going to get second. So either way, we're in the knockouts of February, I don't know. So we could get, if we do beat Valencia, we've won all our away games, in the group stage. We've been terribly, terribly poor at home in the group stage, We've only potentially scored one goal at home, potentially. And potentially last time we lost to Valencia was back in 1982, of course, as well. But I think in Smalling won't be featuring. I think that's been confirmed. Luke Shaw's a doubt as well. I think Anthony Martial could be a doubt because he missed Fulham because he limped off against Arsenal. I want him to play, but I don't know if he's going to be playing. It's still saying of what I've seen, he is a doubt. Obviously, Sanchez is out till January, as Mourinho confirmed. Lindelof's out as well. Bailly could actually be returning. Bailly could be in that back line, so it could be either Bailly, Rojo, or Bailly, Phil Jones at our centre back partnerships. We will have to currently see, as I currently said, but we don't potentially have to win tomorrow, but we'd want to win anyway to keep these performances, because we've shown good performances lately. We have performed very, very well in the last two games. We did well against Fulham. I hope Doylett can get the opportunity as well, because Doylett's a great 19-year-old. Mourinho praised him for his fantastic performance he put out against Fulham. He potentially is physically very, very strong, technically very, very good as well. And we want to see, these games come with more that 1-2 touch, 1-2 touch, that we saw against Fulham and all that. That's the type of football that Manchester United currently want to see, and we need to keep these performances up because we potentially haven't performed all season. Red hot in here.
Is it? That's on top, isn't it?
Is it what now?
Yeah.
Alright.
No. It's on a BT Sport 3. Galatasaray's on and everything. They're showing out matches on different channels. Barcelona and Tottenham go thrash Tottenham or Barcelona. Thrashing. They ought to win.
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Maybe, yeah.
We might as well. Well, I think they'll decide, yeah.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Maybe, yes. Maybe, yeah.
Well, that's make your decision. You can't get up at half 9 saying, I'll go get later, what's the time, what's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you don't go to the mother, they'll tell you there and then. But if you don't go to the mother, it will be definitely finishing.
Yeah. But yes, sorry about that, I was just talking. But as I was saying, yes, so potentially Man United need to get the win tomorrow. Mourinho's going to make a lot of changes, in the game as well. So we'll potentially see what happens. He has spent over £400 million since he's been to this club. He has got a lot of targets for January, as I said. And, he's sanctioned 14 players off. And, there has been potential rumours about him leaving the club, as we all currently know, Jose Mourinho. We know we spent a lot of money since Ferguson retired. We have different managers, different philosophies, different styles of play. As I currently spent about £1 billion being spent in this team. potentially since Alex Ferguson retired. So we have potentially, spent a lot of money. We all know this in all Mourinho's team. He's inheriting some of the players Van Gaal got in. David Moyes obviously got in as well, and still some of the players from the Fergie era as well. As we all currently know, Mourinho said the other week he wasn't too convinced we was going to get any major signings in January, so he wasn't too convinced we was going to get any Galactico players in the January window. Mourinho was discussing a couple of weeks ago about potentially us getting the top four. He said he wanted to get top four by the end of the year, but at the moment top four looks unlikely. I think we're 7-8 points behind top four, with 16 points from top as well, as we all currently know. And I think there's a lot of players coming to the end of the deals. As we all know, so the board and owners will have to potentially focus on getting these players new deals at this club as well. But potentially, yeah, we have got a lot of players coming to end the deals. Mourinho's reportedly going to get £100 million spending spree to spend in January. Potentially, people questioning about his team selection and his tactics. There's still people saying sack him. There's still people backing Jose Mourinho potentially because of his success, what he's achieved over the years and what he's won. And he always seems to discuss about it a lot. And, he's had disputes with a lot of the top players, since he's come to Manchester United as Jose Mourinho, as we all know. But potentially, as I said, he's going to make a lot of changes going into the Valencia game tomorrow night. As I said, and we've got a big game coming up on Sunday. We go away at Anfield. Hopefully Mourinho goes there with the right tactic and team selection, because potentially we don't want Mourinho parking the bus and playing defensively against Liverpool, as he did against Manchester City early on this season. And I think he did it at Anfield, was it last season, when it was 0-0, he parked the bus there as well. But reportedly, Mourinho has been in discussions about the January transfer window. As I said, January is not long away now. As I said, he's looking for a central defender. He's also he's interested in a couple of midfielders. And he's also interested in an attacker as well, because we do need someone to lead them lines, because Lukaku isn't delivering the goods this season. He's had a few injuries. Sanchez, when he's been playing, hasn't delivered goods either. So potentially Mourinho's had discussion with Ed Woodward and Jorge Mendes for January. Reportedly, they have come to an agreement on the targets for the January transfer window. Reportedly, his main priority target is Toby Alderweireld. As I said, Man United are willing to pay £40 million for him in the January transfer window. We know he's available for £25 million next summer, Toby Alderweireld. He's highly experienced in the Premier League. As I said earlier, he can be a world-class central defender. He can play as a fullback as well, but potentially experienced defender. I do think he has reservations about his game, but we have got problems defensively, as we all know. And do you think Toby Alderweireld had improved defensively? As I said, Man United were in talks during the course of summer, but Tottenham were demanding around £60 million. Obviously, Tottenham, Mourinho spoke about how reluctant Tottenham are to sell their players off. As I said, and he's been in the Premier League, is it now 4 or 5 years or something like that. Tottenham do have the option to extend his current contract by a further year, but we all know he's available for £25 million next summer. He's Toby Alderweireld, but he's a potential Manchester United priority target now. We know that got mentioned in the press the other day about Eddie Militaio, the current Porto centre-back. He's 20 years of age. Toby Alderweireld, I think he's 28, 29-year-old. Eddie Militaio is a Porto defender. 45-50 million release clause. He's an ex-Sao Paulo player as well. He's been in the senior squad with Porto now a couple of years as the player, and reportedly he's under contract with Porto to 2023. Reportedly Man United have showed an interest. He's not a priority target, but reportedly Manchester United have showed an interest. Sorry, I was just filling my EC up. Yeah, but yeah, Man United have showed an interest in him as well. Reportedly, that got mentioned in the press the other day was about Koulibaly. Reportedly, Man United and that would have to pay in the region of £90 million or more for the central defender. I think he adapts every area of his game very, very well. He's highly experienced in Italy. He's under contract with Napoli to 2023. Reportedly, Manchester United have been in talks with Napoli over this. According to Mourinho, is too expensive, so potentially we've turned our attention more on Toby Alderweireld. He's never played in Premier League Koulibaly, but potentially he's a very, very good world-class defender, and I think he's quite tall. He is, 20, is he 27 years of age or something like that? You know, he's been at Genk and Metz in the past. You know, Napoli only paid, was it £7 million for him? But potentially, I think the other week, Man United had a £77-80 million bid turned down for Koulibaly, being recently nominated African Footballer of the Year as well, and reportedly his performances for Napoli have been very, very impressive indeed, his performances for Napoli. So few teams have been interested. I think it mentioned Chelsea have been interested in him as well, Koulibaly, but he's been a potential Manchester United target as well. I do really like the player, but it would be the most expensive defender in the world if Manchester United, were actually, to go in for Koulibaly. As I said, sorry about them breaks I've just had. I was just filling music up and that, and I was talking later on. But these some interferences when I'm on video sometimes where I have to go off or talk or do something, and then I come straight back on, as you all know. But yeah, Koulibaly, he's been a potential Manchester United target. Allegedly from the press, Man United have been in talks in this situation, so that's what it said. Potentially, we know this Milan Skriniar, as you mentioned as well. I think he's age 22, 23. He's a youngster. He's an Inter Milan centre-back. He's an ex-Sampdoria player. He's been at Inter Milan since 2017. Inter Milan, I think, paid £20 million for him. I think he's got 4 years left on his current deal. Reportedly, he's rated at around £75 million. Don't know really much about the player, but I know Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Inter Milan are, of course, under financial fair play regulations. They've just recently got a new director in called Pepe Murata. He's looking to invest money into the club. Well, Inter Milan looking to invest money into the club. Potentially, because they're under financial fair play. I think potentially they can't officially buy any players till next summer. They can agree to buy players in January, as I said before, but they can't officially buy them until next summer. As I said, but Mourinho's also been linked, with a few midfielders that have I've recently updated you on today. Potentially Mesut Ozil has been potentially mentioned. Reportedly, Manchester United have showed an interest in Ozil because, obviously, as I said, you take Paul Pogba out of that midfield. It looks a static midfield because Matic, I really want Matic. I know he has a good relationship with Matic. Matic is too slow. He doesn't have support to his play. And I said I had concerns when Manchester United got Matic. And, with Mourinho, I haven't been aggressive enough in the transfer windows. Obviously, he was frustrated with last summer window because he only got 3 players in, and he was frustrated he missed out on, a strong central defender because potentially we need a strong, experienced defender. But we also in search for a defensive midfielder, in my opinion, because Matic isn't good enough for us. Fellaini isn't good enough because they're both tall. They're both aging up now. They're both very, very slow. As I said, but Mourinho has a good relationship with Matic. Thought Matic played well against Arsenal, but for me, I think he needs to improve on his game. Matic somehow he needs to improve on his game. He weren't that great when he was at Chelsea, Matic. I know he won the title then, but he weren't that great, with Chelsea. He can have good games, Matic, where he can perform well. His passing can be very, very good sometimes, but he has no tempo to his play. There's no flair. There's no creativeness in his play, and I think he needs to look, and he's got a lot of bad reservations about his game as Nemanja Matic. So has Marouane Fellaini as well, but Mourinho has been using Fellaini as a plan B and a plan A, as we all currently know. But Ozil has been potentially mentioned in the press reportedly, according to reports. Reportedly, the bookies have actually favoured Manchester United to sign Ozil in the January transfer window because potentially Mesut Ozil has failed to adapt himself under Mourinho. Well, tell a lie, he had a good start to the season and then potentially became a bit of a flop. He's recently become a flop as Ozil because he hasn't been in his best form, and he's been potentially injured as well, with a back injury, reportedly, and potentially has failed to adapt himself under Mourinho as Mesut Ozil. He is aged 30 years old now. He's Mesut Ozil, Premier League proven, highly experienced in the Premier League. Obviously, Man United were linked with him, was it last year, sometime like that? Well, potentially it looked like Ozil and Sanchez were coming to the end. Well, Ozil and Sanchez were going to be free agents, last year, summer, potentially. But Ozil had signed a new deal with Arsenal worth up to £350,000 a week. He has got that new deal, so if Arsenal are considering selling him, which I think they may be doing, they'll demand a fee in the January transfer window or next summer. Or whatever for Mesut Ozil, but proven well in the Premier League, won a lot of honours in his playing career, also won a lot of individual on awards as well as Mesut Ozil, and also Mourinho loves him. He loves Mourinho. He keeps crossing this. Sorry, he loves Mourinho. Ozil loves Mourinho. Mourinho loves him because essentially they've worked together at Real Madrid, and Jose Mourinho's keen on reuniting him with a player. But according to the bookies, Man United are the favourites to sign Mesut Ozil because potentially he's a good attacking midfielder, he's creative, he's good on the ball. I think you can play him as attacking mid. I think you can put him on the wing as well. His work rate's good, his effort's good that he puts into his game when he's fully on form, Mesut Ozil, as I currently said. But potentially Ray Parlour, the next Arsenal player's had to say on the situation. I think it's Ray Summer, as he updated you earlier, he's had to say saying he's not worth more than £50 million. Arsenal, he said, from his perspective, Arsenal still know he's an essential player. Reportedly, they could let him go in the January transfer window because he has been at Arsenal since 2013. He's risen up the ranks with Schalke. He's been at Schalke in the past. Werder Bremen, Real Madrid, and now currently Arsenal, of course. His performances have been absolutely fantastic. His performances were good, very, very good under Arsene Wenger as well. But potentially it's said that Inter have reportedly been interested. Reportedly, Ozil's representatives have reportedly been in discussions are preparing to have discussions with Inter Milan about potentially Inter Milan making a move for him in January. Reportedly, the fee is around £25 million, according to reports. But according to what I've seen today, reportedly Manchester United are favourites to get Mesut Ozil. As I said, and he's a very, very good player. I think he wears that number 11 shirt, does he, Mesut Ozil? But I think a few Manchester United supporters wouldn't be bothered about him coming. I like him. I think he's a very, very good player. He adapts himself very, very well. Every area of his game, he plays very, very well. And I think he's a good player. That's it. I think he's a very, very good player indeed. And I'd like him to come to United, Mesut Ozil. So that's according to what the bookies said, as I currently said. But I think Arsenal are a much, much better team now. I said Mourinho still needs a couple of windows, to address it up, bolster the squad more. Arsenal did get 5 players in the last summer. They spent £70 million. And Mourinho's got a decent pedigree. Arsenal are obviously 21 games unbeaten. As I said, so they are playing very, very well. Just scraped past Huddersfield, but they've got great players such as Aubameyang and Lacazette. And Aubameyang's a great number 9. He was very, very good when he was at Borussia Dortmund. He proved to be a prolific goal scorer, and he's done well since he's come to the Premier League. So too was Lacazette, and I'd have loved Aubameyang at Manchester United. As he currently said, I think Torrente is also very, very good for Arsenal as well. Very, very good player indeed. But with the Ozil situation, as I do keep dating you, there was talks in the Daily Star that potentially there was a swap deal reportedly involved. That Ozil to United, Manchester United, Sanchez back to Arsenal. But as I said to you earlier on, Man United and Arsenal have 2 big fan bases. They're aware of the situation. And would Arsenal take Sanchez back, in my opinion? No, majority of Arsenal fans wouldn't want him back to the Emirates anyway. I know he was there at the time when he was there, where he was their most essential player. Arsenal didn't really want him to leave, and then there was discussions going on. We offered Mkhitaryan to them and Sanchez to us, and obviously it went through. Did the current swap deal, as we all know, but I don't think any Arsenal fans would take him back now because it just proved potentially that Arsenal just feel as though that you weren't loyal to us, you didn't stay, you decided to go to one of our arch rivals, potentially, because obviously Arsenal and Manchester United are arch rivals, not fiercest rivals, but they are arch rivals, especially over the year they have been arch rivals. As I said, when we had Fergie, when they had Arsene Wenger as well, but potentially they know Sanchez wasn't loyal to their club. Potentially Sanchez wasn't loyal to Arsenal. So potentially now, if there was any possibility of a swap deal going on, I don't think Arsenal would let Sanchez go back to Arsenal, and that's just my personal opinion because he did well with Arsenal for 4 or 5 years. He was good with underneath. He was good with Barcelona. He's on £500,000 a week here. He's currently injured now till January, as you all know, and he has failed to deliver the goods at Manchester United. We know there has been talks about him going to Paris Saint-Germain as well, because they were linked to him last year. As well, but he's proven in the Premier League, because he did very, very well with Arsenal. Hasn't done it at Manchester United, though. That's why I said Manchester United do potentially need another attacker, as we all know. But there has been talks of Ozil and Sanchez as a potential swap deal. But from my perspective, they wouldn't take Sanchez back to Arsenal. That's just my opinion. They wouldn't take Sanchez back to Arsenal. Right there. Where's my bloody sig? And you got obviously Arsenal potentially know that Aaron Ramsey's going to be leaving, because that's been confirmed that Aaron Ramsey's going to be leaving Arsenal. He's been there over a decade. He's made over 2 century appearances. I thought it was good in his Cardiff days. Arsenal have blatantly told him he's not getting a new contract. Danny Welbeck's out for the season. As we all know, he's not getting a new contract as well. Danny Welbeck. Obviously, Arsenal paid £50 million for him from us, and he's been like 2014, hasn't he, or something like that. But Man United and Arsenal have done quite a few deals, over the years. Van Persie was very, very good for us in that, in last season with Alex Ferguson. Van Persie scored 30 goals for us, and he was very, very good. I don't know how Welbeck's really performed at Arsenal, because I haven't really watched him when he went to Arsenal. I never really watched Welbeck, so I can't really say how he performed. Mkhitaryan's now at Arsenal, of course. I don't know how he's actually performing with Arsenal. I don't really watch Arsenal much, to be quite fair, but I know they have been playing well recently, and they're playing really well. 21 games unbeaten, the best run since 2007, under Unai Emery, of course, as he currently said. But yes, there has been talks. But reportedly, Arsenal have targeted an interest in Ousmane Dembele, the current Barcelona player. He's aged 21. Reportedly, it come out in the press that Liverpool have also showed an interest in Ousmane Dembele as well. Obviously, he's an ex-Borussia Dortmund player, Ousmane Dembele. Supposed to be very, very good young age prospect, as I said. But according to Lionel Messi, he actually doesn't want Ousmane Dembele to leave Barcelona. I think he's been at Barcelona just over a year. Last season, he suffered through injury, so he didn't participate as I expected. He had an injury. He won the La Liga and Copa del Rey with them last season, as we all know. But he had an injury, was it, at the start of the season or something like that? In his first season, Ousmane Dembele. Also, potentially the 4th most expensive player in world football, and he's only 21 years of age. At the time when, Barcelona did initially sign him for the €105 million, he was the joint 2nd most expensive player, alongside Paul Pogba, who Manchester United paid £89 million sterling for, as he currently said. But yeah, he's a player that, used to be at Rennes. He risen up the youth system with Rennes, did Ousmane Dembele. He is a forward. He's never played in the Premier League. Also, ex-Borussia Dortmund player. He won the Pokal Cup with them, scored in the final, and he scored a goal in the final as well, did Ousmane Dembele. But do you think he'd do well if he came to the Premier League, Ousmane Dembele? As I said, but reportedly, Arsenal have been monitoring an interest in him as well, so potentially we will see what happens about that. But do you think he'd complement the likes of Lacazette and Aubameyang if Ousmane Dembele was to potentially make a move to Arsenal? But potentially, there has been rumours about that going on. Also, as he updated you earlier on today about Manchester United linked with Tanguy and Ndombele. As I said, he's a Lyon player. I think he's very, very young. This player, I think he's age 21. Is he something like 20? 21 is Ndombele. He's a Lyon player. He's been at Lyon a year or so. Well, Lyon initially got him on a 1-year deal. They paid £2 million for it, and then earlier this year they permanently signed him for around £7.2 million. Made his international debut for France this year. His international senior debut for France this year, back in October. Did the player as well. Reportedly, he's rated at around £90 million. According to reports stemming from France, that reportedly Man United are emerged as the front runners to get the player. That is a lot of money for a young player, 89, £90 million. Reportedly, that's what Lyon would probably want, because reportedly his performances for Lyon have been very, very good. Reportedly, he's a very good, tenacious and compassive midfielder, and he is very, very young. As I said, he's been at Amen's in the past as well. So reportedly, it's come out in the press that reportedly City are interested in him Tottenham have been interested in him. Barcelona have been interested in him as well. But he has been a potential Manchester United target. Do you think he'd complement our midfield well? Because we didn't search for a midfielder. We definitely didn't search for a strong defensive midfielder as well, because we potentially need a defensive midfielder, because Matic and Fellaini just don't fit the Manchester United agenda, and the two slow players who have no pace about the game. And I think they're too slow. So we're potentially in search for another midfielder. As I said, Kante, I'd like him as a midfielder. He's a great midfielder. He's Kante. I love Kante a lot. He's won the PFA, he's won the Football of the Year. Obviously, confirmed quite a few weeks ago he signed a new deal with Chelsea, but I potentially like Kante, potentially. As I said, Kante, he's like two players in one in that midfield, and I do really, really like him, and, I do like him, and he's a player I'd always I'd have liked to, at Manchester United. He's good. He's a good box-to-box midfielder. We're good, during his Leicester days when he won the Premier League. He was only at Leicester one season when he won the Premier League with them. He's been at Chelsea since 2016. Chelsea paid, was it £32 million for him, as I currently said. So Chelsea basically paid note next to note for him, because look, the performances he's given for Chelsea. He's a really, really good player, N'Golo Kante, and I do really, really highly rate him. And so he's another potential midfielder I'd like at Manchester United. Of course, as I said. So he's a potential another midfielder I'd like at Manchester United. But so we are linked with a lot of players for the January transfer window. As I said, as he updated you earlier on with the news, what's going on with a bit of Chelsea's transfer news, or what's going on with their transfer news. I updated you earlier on about the Morata situation. Potentially his career could be potentially over with Chelsea, according to reports. Under Sarri's plans, he's no longer getting into Sarri's starting 11. Is Morata. Chelsea have only had Morata since 2017, of course, as we all know. I said very, very good in the air, good at leading the lines. His finishing assets is very, very good. Hasn't been potentially to his best, recently, because potentially he's no longer under Sarri's plan, because Sarri potentially prefers to play Giroud over Morata now, and potentially you can play Morata on the wing as well. And he's a great number 9. I potentially highly rate him. I think he's better than Lukaku. He's highly experienced, not in the Premier League as much, but Lukaku is more experience in the Premier League. He's got a better pedigree in the Premier League as Lukaku, but Morata is a very, very good prolific striker. When he's on form, he does score a lot of goals. He's won a lot of honours, during his career as well. But reportedly, Chelsea are considering sanctioning him off on loan in January, and reportedly it says AC Milan are interested in him. Chelsea, of course, paid £60 million for Alvaro Morata. As I said, he's been in the Premier League since 2017. He was good in the 2017-18 season, was Alvaro Morata, to be quite fair, but very, very good player, as I said. But obviously he began his career with Atletico Madrid. Then he went to Getafe, potentially. He went to Getafe, as we all currently know. And then he went to Real Madrid. Made his senior debut for Real Madrid in 2010. Won the champion. He spent a lot of time at Real Madrid. So he's highly experienced in Spain. He won the Champions League with Real Madrid. He had a 2-year spell with Juventus. He won domestic double of Copa Italy's and Serie A's. Then went back to Real Madrid, won the Champions League again with Madrid and the La Liga. And now currently he's at Chelsea. And so far he's won the FA Cup with Chelsea, as Alvaro Morata as well. But potentially he's falling down the pecking order. He's not be guaranteed to be regularly starting now under Sarri, so potentially he could be getting out on loan in the January transfer window, of course, because Chelsea got, obviously, their spend. They were the second biggest spenders in the last summer window. Liverpool were the top. They spent £170 million, and Chelsea currently were the second. They got, obviously, Kepa for a world record deal, goalkeeper from Atletico Bilbao. They also got in Jorginho from Napoli. And also, they got Morata in because potentially they got him in to replace Diego Costa, because obviously Diego Costa went back to Atletico Madrid. And potentially they got Kepa from Atletico Bilbao during the summer to replace Courtois, who potentially left Chelsea, as we all currently know. So, so that's potentially to update you on. Chelsea could potentially lose in Eden Hazard as well. He's a good player. He's good on the ball. His close ball control is very, very good. Very, very good prolific scorer. You can put him in the middle. you can put him on, you can put him on the wing, but very, very good player, as I said. And Chelsea know how much of an essential player he is. He's delivered the goods, he's highly Premier League proven. He's highly experienced in the Premier League and Hazard, but he's won a lot of honours as well. But according to reports, as I saw today, as he updated you on one of my videos, that reportedly Chelsea have been in talks with trying to secure him a new. He's got a year and a half left on his contract. There's been no signs of him yet signing a new deal, but reportedly, from Eden Hazard's perspective, he's potentially confirmed that the contract talks have come to a conclusion. And reportedly, he's also confirmed, as Eden Hazard, that he has always loved Real Madrid. So this is what potentially Eden Hazard had admitted. Allegedly, it came out in the press the other day that I'd allegedly agreed terms to join Real Madrid. But reportedly, he could be joining Real Madrid next summer if he doesn't sign a new deal with Chelsea, which isn't looking likely at the moment. And potentially, he admires Real Madrid. He has a lot of time for Real Madrid because he likes Real Madrid, because he said he's always loved Real Madrid. But Chelsea will have to identify a replacement for Eden Hazard if he potentially leaves as well. I think he's made about two century appearances in the league, over 2 century appearances. Just in the Premier League, he's got about 79, 80 goals in the league as well. But he's potentially a world-class player. Mourinho really, really likes Eden Hazard, as I said. Obviously, Mourinho has worked for him in the past, when he was at Chelsea, Mourinho. But as I said, yeah, so he's obviously he did rule the move out of potentially making a move to Paris Saint-Germain. From his own perspective, Eden Hazard said he could leave Chelsea during the course of the summer, next summer. He's an ex-Lille player, he did very, very well with Lille. Risen up the youth system, risen up the ranks fantastically well. He was in the youth academy for 2 years, with Lille. And, I think he spent like 7, 8 years with Lille. Oh, it's Lille, not Lille. I always call Lille. It's Lille, isn't it? He spent 8 years with Lille. Lille, won the double with them. Since he's come to Chelsea, won a lot of honours as well, such as I think he's won the Europa League with Chelsea. Has he won the Champions League with Chelsea as well? Eden Hazard, I'm not too sure. Won the FA Cup with Chelsea, of course. So he's won quite a few trophies since he's been with Chelsea, as well as Eden Hazard. But reportedly, it showed him in one of the reports in a Real Madrid shirt. Real Madrid are known for buying Premier League players. They've bought 23 Premier League players, since like 2000. So essentially, Real Madrid have got players there they're unhappy with. Isco, obviously, as well, they're not happy with. Bale, obviously, hasn't been to his potential best this season. Obviously, we know he's injury prone as well. So yeah, Real Madrid are looking to get a few players into their squad as well. They obviously lost Ronaldo to Juventus during the course of last summer. It's also mentioned that they're interested in Juan Mata from Manchester United. Juan Mata for me, very, very good, very, very consistent player. Obviously, good to see him score his 50th goal and his 50th assist in English football. Juan Mata, very, very good, consistent player. I hope Man United can secure him a new deal. He is free to discuss with other teams in January because he hasn't signed a new deal yet. Juan Mata, as I said, you can play him on the wing, you can play him in the middle. As I said, Mourinho usually when he plays him does put him on the wing. He has sometimes put him in the middle, Juan Mata. I think he performs better in the middle, to be quite honest here. But very, very good, consistent player is the Spaniard. I think he would go back to Real Madrid if he gets the opportunity. It says Real Madrid are keen on him. Real Madrid obviously identify him as a replacement for Isco and potentially Luka Modric as well. Juan Mata, because Juan Mata he's never ever won a Premier League, but he is highly experienced in the Premier League. Is Juan Mata still a very, very good essential player for Man United? He's highly experienced in the Premier League. Never won the Premier League, but he won the Europa League. He had 3 years with Chelsea. He won the Europa League with Chelsea, Champions League with Chelsea. As I currently said, he won the Europa League with Chelsea, won the Champions League with Chelsea. As I said, he Juan Mata. Did he also win the FA Cup with Chelsea as well, Juan Mata? He's won the FA Cup with us. That was under Louis van Gaal era. We only won 1 trophy under Louis van Gaal, and that was potentially the FA Cup. I think it was just the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal. But yeah, potentially Juan Mata, he's highly experienced of being in Spain because he has been in Spain in the past, with Real Madrid, where he's risen up the Yankees. He was at Real Madrid Castilla as well. If I pronounce that wrong, let me know. And he was at Valencia, and he's obviously worked with Mourinho in the past. It was Valencia a good 4 years. Worked with Mourinho then as well. Did Juan Mata, but we've had him since 2014. We paid £40 million for him from Chelsea, and he's well proven in the Premier League as well. So potentially it says Real Madrid are interested in him as well. Real Madrid have been linked to matter in the past, from my knowledge. I hope Manchester United Herrera does sign a new deal as well. I hope to God Herrera signs a new deal, because potentially I think he's been good this season when he has been playing for us. Herrera, we know early on in this season he was making substitute appearances was under Herrera, but recently he has been starting from the start. And I think most of his performances this season have been very, very good. But Man United have been discussions of signing him a new deal as well at the club. But yeah, very, very good play under Herrera. I do like him. We've had him since 2014. You know, when we got him from Atletico Bilbao. But yeah, I do like Ander Herrera as well. And we have got a lot of players, you know, coming to the end of the deals, as we all currently know. Chris Smalling, you know, Darmian as well. He could potentially be making a return back to Italy because there has been a few Italian clubs interested in him. You know, maybe Bailey could leave. He hasn't been getting first team football this season, hardly ever. I know he played against Arsenal and he may be playing on Wednesday night as well, but there were rumours, but quite a few, was it a month or so ago, he wanted to get rid of Bailey and Marcus Rojo, did Jose Mourinho, as I said. You know, we have got a lot of players, you know, coming to the end of the deals with Manchester United, and it's down to the board and the owners to currently address this, as I currently said. So there's a lot of transfer rumours now. You know, there's rumours coming in about transfer news thick and fast now, as I currently said. As I said, don't know if Martial's going to start on Wednesday. But yeah, as I said, the main part of this video is about Mourinho. He's come out in the press. He's praising Paul Pogba. He said in terms of Paul Pogba, he has to lead. He has to lead it against Valencia. Potentially has to match the mentality of his teammates, and he has to be the main impact. Jose Mourinho said he has to make the impact. Does Paul Pogba against Valencia? Mourinho's given him the opportunity. He's given Pereira the opportunity. As I said, it's Jose Mourinho. So that's good. He's made 2 key promises, and he's going to stick with it. It's Jose Mourinho. Confirmed. Who's coming with the rest of the squad is Mason Greenwood, who plays in the reserves, and in the young team, and James Garner as well, reportedly travelled, you know, to Valencia as well. So there will be more live videos coming up tomorrow night. As I said, this is my last one tonight. There will be more live videos coming up tomorrow night. As I said, I think Rashford's been playing very well recently. I think he will be starting because I think Martial's a doubt anywhere. I don't know if Mourinho will start Lukaku or not. I think he may give Lukaku the chance to try and, you know, get him back in a good run of form, Romelu Lukaku. So we'll potentially see what happens. So anyway, as I said, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. And the main part of this video was about Jorge Mendes reportedly with his statement. Mourinho doesn't care, and Mourinho's adamant it was potentially nothing to do with him as well. So we'll see. So anyway, that's something to do today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, guys, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.